In every Harry Potter film, there's a new professor, and the filmmakers have hoovered up some of Britain's finest acting talent in casting them. Now, I've come down today to meet Professor Slughorn, who's Hogwarts' new potions master, and I've been told to hang around here. Oh, sorry. I didn't see you there.
Professor Slughorn is someone who years ago was the potions master at Hogwarts and is the person that Dumbledore recruits this year to come back, not only to teach potions, but also because Dumbledore thinks that Slughorn has information on Voldemort that he is too ashamed to admit to knowing. And Dumbledore sort of uses Harry as bait in a way, because Slughorn's obsessed with the idea of fame and power. And so Harry is sort of the most famous, certainly young kind of wizard of his time, is the perfect sort of ploy to get Slughorn back to Hogwarts, because Slughorn would want to be around someone like Harry.
Horace. And Slughorn makes an unusual first appearance in the film.
Dumbledore and Harry come into this house that has obviously been ransacked, and there is a purple striped armchair. And Dumbledore performs a bit of magic, and out of that armchair evolves Horace Slughorn, who has disguised himself as an armchair. So there's a bit of special effects.
In lavender purple pyjamas.
In lavender, in the same material as the armchair. It's a very good entrance to a film.
Merlin's beard! No need to disfigure me, Albus.
So how do you get a chair to turn into an actor?
Working with an actor like Jim Broadbent, you know, it just seemed the logical thing to let him drive the performance rather than come up with a slightly cartoony sort of caricature in terms of a chair.
Here's a mega $1 million Hollywood movie, and we basically put him on a plank of wood and sit him on this plank of wood. Well, it's a little bit more elaborate than a plank of wood. But it's kind of a plank of wood.
It's a shiny plank of wood.
It's a shiny plank of wood with two guys operating it. And it sort of springs him up. I just said to Jim, you know what? Imagine you're a chair and then you're turning out of a chair and you have to shake all this fabric off. And he did this rather eccentric, crazy, quite funny acting transformation from a chair to a human, all in a performance.
And of course that was great, because from there, using our designs of what we wanted the chair to look like, we then started animating on top, you know, rotoscoping his performance, then looking at how the actual chair itself would shrink and come back into his true proportions. And just working off him seemed to suggest that actually using cloth as an interesting technique would be quite a good way of resolving the chair and turning the fabric of the chair itself into the pyjamas that he was wearing.
Creating a visual effect is a process which involves filtering ideas from many different departments into one end result.
Sometimes you start off with some particular view in mind, but by the time you get to the end, it's gone through many iterations and turns out to be something quite different, because you've either discovered something new en route, or you've discovered something that you thought would work, it doesn't work, and it's not very comfortable, it's not very funny, or it looks like a visual effect. And so it is a very subjective journey that we take.
Horace's weakness is that he has a sort of softness for stars.
You recognise Barnabas Cuff, of course, editor of the Daily Prophet.
He will do anything to get some star names under his wing.
He likes collecting them, doesn't he?
Yeah, he likes collecting them. So it doesn't take much tempting to come back in a way.
All right, I'll do it. But I want Professor Merrythorpe's old office, not the water closet I had before. And I expect a raise. These are mad times we live in, mad.
They are indeed.
And it's not just mad times in the wizarding world. There's panic on the streets of London as Voldemort's soldiers, the Death Eaters, attack the Millennium Bridge. Even the makers of Harry Potter don't have the budget to destroy the bridge for real, so they sent a team down there to film images that would later be incorporated into this extraordinary sequence.
During the actual destruction of the bridge, obviously we start replacing more and more of the real elements, so we have to take the real bridge out and replace it with the CG bridge. We've actually replaced the Thames as well with CG water, so that we get all of the real interaction between the bridge collapsing into the water and the splashes and things. And of course, ultimately at the end, we've actually replaced all the people on the bridge with CG characters running away from the destruction.
There were just under 1,500 special effects in the film, and constant developments in the processes used have enabled the filmmakers to pursue ever more ambitious results.
I think Quidditch, for example, is in this film better realised than I think we've ever had it. I think it feels more real than ever before. Technology's improved. I think our knowledge of visual effects has improved. And I just think it feels really, really real.
But how they film Quidditch before it actually hits the technology is still a closely guarded secret. Or is it?
Basically, it's no main secret other than for a man. If you imagine sitting on a bicycle and taking your feet off the pedals and off the ground and just hanging there and then leaning forward, and with all the repercussions that has, then you get
what are you getting
idea.
at?
Well,
Balance is difficult.
Balance is very, very difficult, and also certain very, very important organs are crushed.
Comfort.
Yeah, so the comfort levels are not high.
This is Ron's first outing in the Quidditch arena, and he eventually emerges as quite a star.
I've always fancied sort of having a go on a broom.
Yeah, being a hero.
Yeah, but yeah, I mean, it was a bit of a anticlimax when I first sat down, because it's quite painful for one. It's because you are actually just sitting on a broom, and it does, when you're up there for a few hours, it does quite get a bit painful, and but no, it's going to look really cool.
Davey wanted a comedy aspect to this one, so we had to come up with different gags, different ideas of flying, and different falls, you know, for comedy falls. And you know, Quidditch, when they're flying up there, and obviously on these rigs at the Quidditch arena, we've come up with a Russian swing that we've been using and launching off that.
So what on earth is a
Russian swing? Is just a great big swing, which you swing back when the falls, and on the number 3, the guys just launch. I mean, we can get them up there on that, you know, but we had a big one made for Quidditch for inside, and we had a smaller one made for out here just to launch them off and just let them skid across.
So
the
you
mud.
swing them backwards and forwards, 1, 2,
3,
off you go. You let them go.
Yeah. 58 feet was the furthest we launched one, and with a broomstick.
This sort of action is strictly left to the stunt team. For the actors, Quidditch training is somewhat less dramatic.
I'm going to be given a chance to get out and do some stunt training with Greg on the trampoline.
Right.
Have you any advice for me?
I had to do that for about a few weeks before I was allowed on a broom.
Seriously?
Yeah, you have to master all these different sort of jumps, like tuck jump.
That's like jumping and bringing your knees up.
Yeah.
My 4-year-old cousin can do that.
it just get harder because they put you in this harness,
Right.
and you're on these like bungee springs.
Okay.
I don't know if you're going to be doing that, but that is quite scary.
You go really high.
You go about 30 foot in the air.
Whoa!
And I don't know if you'd be holding up, because I was holding a broom and they were throwing balls at me, and I had to sort of save all these. It's quite scary.
Hey, 3.
I didn't really enjoy that part. Good luck, anyway.
I'm going to need it. I understand this is where the Quidditch training takes place.
It starts here.
It starts here?
It starts here. We get all the kids in, and we basically just play with them on the trampoline, on the floor, in the gym, just to get some movement and some timing.
And these are obviously the equivalent of the quaffle or...
Correct, yeah. Just a softer version for this, just in case it catches you in the face and that.
So look, you've got a harness up there as well.
Yeah, this is what we start everyone, all the people who's been playing Quidditch, we start them in that just to get them bouncing up and down so they're safe. If they make a mistake, we can just hold them off the tram.
Excellent.
Dave, just come down, we'll take your shoes off and we'll put you up in the harness. This is good.
Start ringing the bells.
That's it, good. Trying to catch him on the nose. Which I do quite often.
Not the nose I'm worried about, Greg.
Watch your nose this time. Here it comes.
It's going to take a lot more than practice to get me match fit. I think I'm going to need some of this.
It's a curious little potion known as Felix Felicis. But it is more commonly referred to as...
Liquid luck.
Yes, Miss Granger. Liquid luck. Desperately tricky to make, disastrous should you get it wrong. One sip and you will find that all of your endeavours succeed. At least until the effects wear off.
Now, this is a wonderful set, one of the many wonderful sets, Dan, but can you just tell us what's going on?
Basically, in this scene, this is the first time we see Slughorn teaching, and we're all making potions, and it's a notoriously difficult potion to make, and we're competing with each other to win a bottle of this stuff called Felix Felicis, which is liquid luck, which means if you take it, all your endeavours will succeed. And so we're all competing to get it, and Harry follows the scrawled instructions of the Half-Blood Prince in his book. and makes the perfect potion.
How did you do that?
Crush it, don't cut it.
No. The instructions specifically say to cut.
No, really.
Now then, how are you?
I'm alright. How are you?
Not that I'm suggesting it's not an interesting book, or even attractive, but what's going on with the hair?
This is Hermione in her final stages of potion madness. And she's meant to look a little bit like Medusa at this point. Hermione really, really, really wants to be the best and make the best potion so that she can win the prize, which is this little vial of liquid luck. She just gradually gets more and more frustrated and desperate as the scene goes on.
Because it's very unlike Hermione to be getting things wrong as well.
Very unlike her. She hates it. She hates not being the best. Hates it.
And watching Harry doing everything against what the recipe says.
But getting it right is just too much.
He's top of the class. He's even better than you, Hermione. Slughorn thinks he's a genius. Oh.
I'm very impressed at the fact that Hogwarts, this school of witchcraft and wizardry, uses gas for their Bunsen burners. Interesting.
Can't be gas.
Very strange thing that they've done. You can imagine Dumbledore on the phone to the gas board.
Yeah.
What time will he be round? You know, just check the meter.
Dark times lie ahead, and later we'll be finding out why when we meet Draco and Greyback, both working some bad magic. Plus, we'll be catching up on all the gossip and finding out who's snogging who.
Excuse me, I have to go and vomit.
But after the break, I'll be stepping into the film as an extra. I can't wait. See you in a bit.